Hello viewers, thank you for joining me. Here we are at Snetterton. This was March 2017 and you can probably see I've got quite a few cars ahead of me. I had an atrocious qualifying. This is the green flag by the way, so I'll just fast forward in this bit to get us around the lap and let you see the lap within the Snetterton 300 circuit. As I say, diabolical qualifying. I had two new tyres which I put on the front of the car thinking that would give me some good grip in front, which it did indeed give me good grip. However, the rear tyres had done, I think, 6 races, so 6 heat cycles. Consequently, the rubber was quite hard, so I struggled to get heat into them, and it made the car very oversteery. And during qualifying, I spun 3 times. Making it a pretty poor qualifying session for me. And when I eventually did get some heat into the tyres, someone had laid oil on the track, which stopped me getting a good qualifying. So we're coming up to the end of the green flag lap, just lining up onto the grid, and we'll get ready to go, and red lights will be on shortly. So the revs are rising. Bit of creeping there, and we're away. Now, because I had a bad qualifying, I've got to get myself up towards the sharp end as quick as possible. We only have 15-minute races. Had to just ease off there. I was getting pincered by a couple of Clios. My quarry is Chris Bassett, who is just ahead of the red Clio in a Peugeot 205, same class as me. A rare opportunity to race someone in the same class. So just passing a few cars. Oh, I was a little bit late on the brakes, bit of a panic moment, had the wiper going, a lot of oversteer. I was lucky to get around the corner. I actually did think at one point, I'm not going to make this, and thought I was going to go off, but managed to just get enough counter steer in to be able to get myself around the corner with the swing of the rear of the car bringing me around. So coming up behind Nick Winnett into this sharp left-hander, trying to get on the power as quick as possible because I want to get past him and get myself onto the back of Chris Bassett, who, as I say, is in the same class as me. Again, this is one of these races where we have the Tricolores, which is the French cars, Tricolore Trophy, Tricolore being the French flag, and a sprinkling of Clios, a couple of Peugeot 205s. There's a 306 up ahead, yellow one, you can just see it up ahead on the right hand side there. He's in the same class, so I've got a good exit out of there, and Nick Winnett stayed on the left, let me pass, very courteous of him, so he's let me go and do battle with Chris Bassett, who's up ahead, and he's having a little battle with the white Suzuki Swift, which is mega quick in a straight line, just hasn't quite got the cornering ability that we have, so I think Chris may get past him quite quickly. This is coming into the bomb hole. Not the bum hole, as my wife always thought it was. Yeah, Chris swept past him coming out of the bomb hole there. Now this is quite a tricky right-hander. It's a long right-hander where you have to brake as you're going around it. Of course, that creates oversteer. You've got to brake, get the car decelerated, ready for that sharp left-hander, which brings us back onto the start-finish straight. So Chris is still one car ahead of me. Well, one car between us, and this is a great corner, fast right-hander. It's a lot quicker than you think. 4th gear corner for me. Take the second apex, let the car go out towards the left-hand side of the track, leave it in 4th, brake hard. Just got down in front of down the side of the Suzuki Swift. Luckily he didn't turn in, he saw me coming. Had he turned, I would have probably T-boned him because I was as late as I could be on the brakes. Right, we are starting to gradually catch Chris, although he's quick around this intricate middle section of the track. Back down towards this left-hander. So I've gone around there in 3rd that time. Sometimes I go down to 2nd. sometimes leaving third. It's a tricky corner for my gearing of my car, that one. Third gear, it just bogs down a bit. Below 4,500 revs, my car just sort of bogs down. It has to be above 5,500 before the cam really comes on. Sweeping onto the Bentley straight. Got to get a good exit out of there because it's quite a long straight. See if I can reel Chris in. Very similarly spec'd cars, ours, similar performance. Slightly different setup. Mine's set up more understeery and Chris's is quite oversteery, but he likes to drift his round the corners. However, as I say, I had the 2 new tyres which I put on the front for qualifying, which was atrocious. The car, I just didn't like it at all. I really struggled. It took about 8 laps before I got some heat going into the rear tyres, which helped the rear grip. So now I've just put the 2 new tyres on the rear, so the older tyres are on the front, and I had to really work them in that green flag lap, as you might have seen, going side to side, to just try and get some heat into them, which is working, and they're gripping. When I started this race, I didn't really know how the car was going to handle, so it was a little bit of potluck, and it's manageable. It's working quite well. Little bit understeering, but that's easier to control than the oversteer. I do like a bit of oversteer, but the oversteer I was getting, it was snap oversteer, and it was just snapping off and round, and there was just no way of capturing it, stopping it from spinning round. As I say, I had 3 spins. I think I spun here in qualifying, and then I spun round the next corner, which is Hamilton, which is a tricky old corner. This is an earlier turn in than you think. You have to turn in a little bit sooner than you really think. I spun there in qualifying, and that last sweeping right-hander before the start from straight, I spun. So I'm catching Chris up. I can see I've gradually reeled him in. So I can get up to him on the straight here. Got to get a good exit. Now it seems to be when I go into 5th gear, I'm able to pull him in a bit more, as you saw there. And Chris was later on the brakes. He outbraked me there, which was, a good bit of driving. He was just on the edge, as you could see. He was not quite where he wanted to be on the track, but he got round the corner. So into the bomb hole. I'm also watching the gap to the yellow 306 ahead, and I'm thinking, well, if I don't battle with Chris too much, maybe we can catch him, because he is in our class. As I mentioned, so we're tricolores, and I forgot to say actually, Nippons as well are in this race, Japanese cars. There's a couple ahead of us, and there's a sprinkling of Japanese cars behind us. But there's usually a couple ahead which have got loads of big horsepower. So as I'm following Chris for a few laps now, I'm sort of looking to see where he's strong, where he's slightly weaker than me, and also the gap to the yellow 306, which I can see is gradually coming down. So I thought, well, I'll follow Chris for a couple of laps rather than try and get past him and see if we can reel in the 306, because at the end of the day it would be nice to have an outright win in the tricolores. Although obviously winning the class is the main thing, but to actually get an outright win is cracking. So we're just going to fast forward these couple of laps, and then the last couple of laps of the race I'll give it a good push to try and get past Chris, because I have essentially followed him without pushing too hard. Now I was wondering whether Don, who's in the yellow 306, was just watching the gap himself in his rearview mirrors, and he was controlling that gap. So I think I needed to start trying to get past Chris now. And here's a small opportunity. I saw the back marker, could see that Chris was going to have to take a slightly different line out of that left-hander, so I thought I'd try and go up behind him. And I think we've just got 2 laps left to go, so I'm going to start pushing now and really start to try and get past him. So I'm going to jink to the right, try and put him off. See if I can outbrake him, but no, he's very late on the brakes. And he has given me room if I wanted to go down the inside, and he's just hung it out around the outside, drifted round that corner. Nicely done, kept it all together. Hard on the brakes, second gear, a little bit of oversteer there as I went in. Just trailed the brake a little bit too much. And into the more tighter corners of the infield section. So I'm just jinking to one side of Chris's car to try and put him off, so he thinks I'm going to try and outbrake him. But he's very low on the brakes and very good round this corner. See, he managed to get a bit of distance between me and himself round that corner. Very quick round there into Hamilton's. He's missed the apex a bit there. I've used all the curb and a little bit more. So you can see I'm getting a bit of understeer. Those older tyres on the front, they've only got a small window of operation now, and as they get too hot, they start to create a bit more understeer. The car's going well, very pleased with it. It's fairly good handling. So coming into the bomb hole, and this next right-hander, this is where I'm able to catch Chris up a bit. Because this car's a little bit oversteery, trying to get around this corner and brake and get the car slowed down for the left-hander. If you've got an oversteery car, it's a bit more difficult, because mine's a bit more understeery. I can just catch up with him a little bit down here. So I've got to get out of this corner as quick as possible, on the power as fast as possible. Right, we're really going for it now. Get up behind him, see if I can get down his inside. No, he's seen that, he's closed the door, so I have to go for the outside, which is not best as he's coming up to a right-hander. So I've decided to let him through there. Just get as close as I can to then see if I can outbrake him down into this sharp right-hander. Keep my car on that right-hand side just to put him off. But no, he's kept it all together. So I've got to just try and keep as close as I can through this infield section, not forgetting this sharp left-hander coming up. The next one is where Chris's car is very quick round there. I just can't get my car around as quick as he can. There's this corner here. He seems to be able to just take a little bit more speed through the apex of the corner and power out, whereas I get a bit of understeer. Okay, into Hamilton. He's not worrying the apex of that corner. Okay, you can see the understeer I'm getting now, but I've just got to push on and try and get right behind him into this corner so we get good power onto the straight. Okay, I'm getting up behind him. Might be able to just scoot past him yet, and then I noticed there's a big dark trail on the tarmac, and I saw Don spinning off ahead of us, so there's oil. So I slowed down because I didn't want to go sliding into Chris into this left-hander, and there is a yellow flag on the left-hand side which you can't see on the camera, and it was debatable whether I was ahead as we came to the flag or whether Chris was ahead. I think Chris decided very courteously that he thought I was ahead, so you'll see when we come out of this next left-hander he does indicate for me to pass him on the left-hand side, which I duly do and take the class honours. After doing that, I actually did think I wasn't sure whether I was ahead or he was ahead as we came to the yellow flag zone, so I actually thought afterwards I should have backed back off and let Chris back past me. But c'est la vie, I took the class win. We weren't far behind Don, which was good, and the lap times were very, very close. So if I can get a good start in the second race, perhaps we can give Don a bit of a hard time for an actual outright race win. But we'll see what we can do in the second race. For now, that's the end of the first race. Good race, nice, clean, hard, close racing between me and Chris. Very pleased with that. And thank you very much for watching, and please do join us for race 2, which is coming up soon.